A very good evening to you, and thanks for joining me tonight on your lovely program, Questions in the Heart. How's your day been? Hope you're enjoying the showers. It's getting cold now. Please keep warm. It's important you keep warm. Tonight, by the grace of God, we'll be looking at immigration law, immigration rules, immigration law, changes in immigration laws, recent changes. On a serious note, concern about immigration are regularly at the top of the British political agenda. That's the truth. And, well, this is because the net migration in 2010, I was told, was around 239,000. This current level of immigration is far, far higher than any in Israel. And I wouldn't blame the government. This has actually put them on, constantly changing immigration laws and immigration rules in the UK. A survey reveals that for the next 5 years, immigration issues will be the concern of most Londoners. That is just the picture of things at the moment. What is the latest upgrade on immigration laws? Rules. How is it going to affect us? Who is, affected by these changes? How do we go about it? What do we do when we have immigration problems? These and many more I'll bring your way tonight with a well-read lady, a solicitor. She's, practiced for so many years. She's vast. She knows our paths when it comes to immigration law. She's been on the show before, and I know you were blessed when she was here. Tonight, we'll be, riding on this topic with her. We are specialized on questions in the heart, are bringing you informative and educative programs. We're not only going to feed your spirit, man, we'll feed your spirit, your soul, and your body. Your well-being is our concern. Don't go nowhere, don't touch the dial. I'll be back after this commercial break.
Are you thinking of putting smiles on the faces of friends and family back home? Then top up their mobile phones with credit from your AfriMobile number. Also, make cheap international calls leveraging our outstanding rates to African countries in particular. Visit afrimobile.co.uk and request your free SIM today. AfriMobile, connecting love.
Afrikiko Bar, Restaurant and Nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range, fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
Oh, thanks for joining me. I was just, going to ask Barrister Oyinfa to talk to you, and welcome you onto that show. Good evening, Ma.
Good evening.
You want to say hi to God's people?
Good evening to everyone there. My name is Marion Oyinfa.
The Director of Victory Legal Services.
Luton.
It's nice having you on the show tonight. How was your trip from Luton?
Thank you. Fine.
Praise God. Would you like to tell us tonight a little about Victory Legal Services? What do you do? What are the services you offer?
Just like the name actually connotes, victory means being a winner.
Wow.
Being a winner. Victory Legal Services actually came to be a couple of years ago. And by the special grace of God, God has been very faithful in terms of the legal office.
Okay.
Most of the work we do, we have areas, we specialize mostly on immigration law.
Yeah.
And we deal with debt and consumer law. We do social security law as well, housing law. And we do courts and tribunal representations.
Oh, brilliant.
So those are the areas, but most especially we have the particular area in immigration law. So we do both applications and appeals. Yeah.
Wow, applications and appeals.
Yeah.
Wow. Gather your loved ones tonight. Have you got any issue with immigration? Are you affected yourself? Do you know someone who's affected? Come on, tonight's show is for you. It's to be a blessing to you. You know, get in touch with your friends, gather your loved ones. Let's together look at the way out of your immigration troubles. The Lord will help us tonight. So, apart from immigration law, you've mentioned the other areas you specialize in.
Yes, apart from immigration law,
Yeah.
we actually specialize in social security law, which is the area of law that deals with benefits, welfare benefits.
Oh, okay.
And also, we do work on debt and consumer law.
Okay.
If you have debt, either through debt collectors and all that, so we deal with consumer law generally on debt.
Okay.
And we do a bit of housing law as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, immigration rules, or call it laws, has been changing for the past 12 months.
That's right.
You know, there has been constant changes in immigration laws and immigration rules. And like I said during my introduction, maybe because of, you know, the rate at which people migrate into the country, the government has to, you know, on a regular basis put a check, put a clause here and there. You want to tell us the recent immigration rules for the past, well, let's cut back the past 12 months. You know, you want to just give us a breakdown of what the rules has been from January. I learned there were changes in January, in March, June, July, and we're expecting another one come October 1st. What's going on here?
For the past 12 months, there have actually been a lot of changes in immigration rules generally. The month of February, March, there were changes, but the particular ones that actually came up in July, that one came up, that was July 9th, 2012. And so many things were actually altered in terms of changes. For instance, in terms of settlements, family settlement especially, the change that came with that one is that if you actually apply before July 9th, maybe for instance as a spouse.
Before July 9th, 2012?
2012, yeah.
Okay.
If you apply before July 9th as a spouse, maybe joining a British citizen as a wife, maybe wife or husband, or somebody with indefinite leave to remain, or maybe somebody that has a stay based on refugee status or humanitarian protection. It used to be, formally, it used to be 2 years to actually settle. If you come into UK, after 2 years, you can now settle. But from July 9th, 2012, the change now is you cannot really settle until 10 years. It's 10 years now to settle down as a spouse, for instance.
10 years to settle? To
settle down.
As a spouse?
Yeah.
Coming to join your spouse,
Yeah, to apply for permanent settlement, you have to have been in UK for 10 solid years.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's a major change. Another change again.
Before you go on the next change, how do you think that would affect people coming into the UK to join their spouse?
Well,
if it's going to take 10 years for them to settle, do you think it's going to really work and be convenient for people?
It's not too convenient. The only thing is that in terms of being able to maybe work, people can work, but in terms of having immigration status.
Okay, they will allow them work within the period
they can work.
Okay.
But not as in having a permanent residence. So it's a major change because formerly it used to be if you are joining your spouse in UK, after 2 years of being in UK, you can now apply for indefinite leave to remain.
Wow.
But now it's now 10 years.
And within those 10 years, you won't have resource to public funds, you won't be able to access some of the, amenities.
Well, maybe through the other partner, you may be able to access, but personally speaking, is a kind of a limited leave. It's not a permanent leave that person will have within that period. Wow. So that's a major change in July.
Okay.
Another major one, again, is in terms of elderly dependents.
Okay.
Yeah, that was another one that came up in July. Formerly, you can bring in your parents or grandparents into UK. But now, the changes there is that you must be able to prove, really, that there is no one to take care of that parent or aged person back home.
Back home.
Back in your country. And apart from that, that maybe medically speaking, that person's health is really very, very bad. That, it can be taken care of back home.
Okay.
So those are it's actually being tightened up to bring an elderly parent or grandparent into UK these days. So that's another major one. Yeah, they can come visiting, but in terms of bringing them in and them having a permanent residence, things have changed.
Wow.
It requires there's stricter rules in terms of that. So that's another major one.
Okay.
Another good thing that actually came up in July again is the 7-year rule for children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Formerly, it used to be DPD 96, which was actually withdrawn a couple of years ago, but that one came back again in July 2012. So that's a major one that actually that people can still use. If you give birth to a child here after 7 years, at the discretion of the Secretary of State, the parent can actually get a stay through the child.
Through the child.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe if you brought in a child who's still under 16 years old, if you bring that child into UK after 7 years
of the
child stay in UK,
yes,
maybe the parent can now apply under that.
Okay.
But that's if that child has been in UK for 7 solid years without going outside UK more than 6 months at a row. So that's another major one that happened in July.
Okay, so for a child born here, parents can apply after 7 years.
After 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under that concession.
Okay.
So that's a good one that actually came back in July.
Okay.
And in terms of other categories like post-study, post-study work, for instance, now that one has stopped totally. If you actually have a degree, or maybe you school in UK, definitely after the school, after your studies, you can go on the 2-year post-study, which is no more. So that one is
cancelled.
That one is cancelled totally now.
Also, if you come in to study, you finish your study, you go back.
You go back. So that's the position.
No post-study.
Yeah, unless you want to switch
from one school to another.
Unless you want to switch from Tier 4 into Tier 2 under the point-based system, the PBS system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Tier 2 is actually the workers category, where you'll be able to, work in the UK. So that's another one that actually changed.
Okay.
Yeah. So
those are the major ones.
Those are the major ones. Yeah.
Okay. The child's
concession.
Yeah.
The settlements of spouses.
Okay.
And another major one is post-study. Yeah.
Post-study. Okay. Yeah. So what are we expecting come October 1st?
Come October 1st, one thing that is coming is the issue of overstaying. If you stay your leave more than 28 days, in any of the categories, that means, for instance, maybe as a student, for instance, now, maybe you need to renew or extend your visa. If you overstay more than 28 days, you will lose the whole route that you've been coming on. So it's going to be a major thing coming up in October, in October now, that students that are extension of leave, further leave to remain. If you overstay more than 28 days, then you will not be able to.
Would that affect those who've been in before October 1st?
Yeah, definitely, because those who are in before October 1st
and have overstayed,
that have limited leave to be in UK, they will need to extend their visa. So while trying to extend, if they actually overstay, their leave more than 28 days before they apply for their extension, they will lose the rights.
Wow.
Maybe as a student or in any category. So that's another one. Yeah.
Well, so that's what we should be expecting in October. Is that the only rule changing?
It's actually cut across other categories as well. Other categories, as in terms of maybe as a visitor coming in, or maybe as a student or as a worker. It's actually cut across. The major thing that is coming in October is actually on overstaying.
Oh, you don't overstay more than
28 days. If you overstay more than 28 days, there's going to be a problem.
Okay. This question keep coming up. You know, what can an overstayer do to regularize their stay in the UK?
An overstayer, formally, if someone actually overstay, people actually go to maybe come out of their shell to put in an application.
Okay.
My own advice to an overstayer is actually to get on the ladder, no matter how difficult it is.
What do you mean by get on the ladder?
To get on the put in an application.
Okay.
Either a fresh application. It can be on discretionary basis, or as an overstayer. I think the best thing is actually to put in an application, maybe on human rights grounds. Yeah, on human rights grounds. And depending on how the routes the person actually entered into UK, although the policy is that an overstay has actually committed an offense. He has actually breached the immigration rules, really. So, but as an overstayer, the advice is if that person still wants to stay in UK, you see that they actually put in a fresh application or find a way of going out of UK back to their home country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But there is this issue of, you know, you're filing in an application and the UKBA is slow in getting back to you. In some cases, it takes years. What would you advise with anyone who's got a pending case at the UKBA to do to speed up things? You know, you put in an application and you're not earning anything a year, 2, 3, 4 times. What will you advise them to do?
Well, in that situation, my advice would be, because it depends on the type of application. If maybe the application is actually submitted through a legal representative, maybe through a lawyer, the lawyer would actually need to, you know, just try to make further representation on behalf of the applicants until the final decision is made. And even if the application is actually made personally, it's still possible for that person to, you know, either be calling them up and then be writing them letters in form of further representation, still on the ongoing application. So there have been situations whereby some cases take very short time to come through. Some cases takes a long time to actually come through. It depends on how, maybe the type of caseworker who is actually treating the applications. So it actually depends. But my own advice is for such people not to be discouraged until a response is actually received in terms of the application. But I mean, it's not a strange thing for application to take long time. Although people do take it up as in a kind of even there are case laws which actually talk more about this. That is delay. Delay in terms of dealing with applications, which is not by law. It's not really right. It's not really right. So I mean, on that, an applicant can actually take up the UKBA on that for that type of delay in terms of applications, especially when application is getting to 4 years, 5 years,
and there is no response.
And there's no response.
Will you reckon if an application is rejected for whatever reason, will you reckon an applicant put in another application? Should there be a time gap? Should there be a wait before you reapply again? Or what do you reckon?
That is if an application is refused.
Refused, yeah.
If an application is refused, definitely there will be a notice of decision. There will be a reason why the application was actually refused. And if the applicant thinks he or she has a case, it's either they put in for, if they give them right of appeal, fine, they go for appeal. If not, they can either put in for further representation or reconsideration, or alternatively, put in a fresh application. Just to get them going. Yes.
So there's a chance of putting
another application.
Once you gather your questions tonight on immigration matters, she is strong, current, relevant in immigration rules, dealing with immigration matters. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll be here to take your questions, and she will be here to answer them. Put your pen and paper together. Get your questions ready. We'll be right back.
Are you thinking of putting smiles on the faces of friends and family back home? Then top up their mobile phones with credit from your AfriMobile number. Also, make cheap international calls leveraging our outstanding rates to African countries in particular. Visit afrimobile.co.uk and request your free SIM today. AfriMobile, connecting love.
Afrikiko Bar, Restaurant and Nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range, fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice, and let men say among the nations that the Lord reigneth. Praise God. My name is Pastor Theo Benning, Senior Pastor of Christ Temple International Church, Manchester. I'm inviting you to our annual prayer conference entitled Prayer Fest 2012. It starts from 27th to the 30th of September. Speakers include Pastor and Mrs. Usoka from London, Bishop George Obeng from Command Prayer Center, myself, Pastor Theo Benning, Senior Pastor of Christ Temple International Church, and Prophetess Beatrice Benny. Come and be blessed. Your life will never be the same. Remember, when prayer goes up, heaven comes down.
Thanks for staying with us. Still on Immigration Matters tonight with Barrister Miriam Oyemfa. You're welcome one more time on this show tonight. Well, we're talking about, before we went on break, we're talking about how overstayers can regularize, you know, in the UK. And you were talking about them putting in another application if need be. Now, in making appeals, would you advise an applicant to do it personally, or or use an attorney?
There is always an alternative in terms of appeals, because we have oral appeals and paper hearing appeals, whereby the oral one, you go to court, you present your case and all that. The paper one is, you don't need to appear physically. The whole thing will just be decided on the paper. But my own advice as a legal practitioner is actually to make use of a professional. Not because of the payment of money or whatever, but professionally speaking, when it comes to immigration work, it's actually better to know the right law to apply. In terms of appeal, there is an alternative of actually making your appeal personally, but you stand a better chance of winning your appeals if you use a lawyer to actually do the appeals.
Well, there have been cases of lawyers taking money from people and the job not being done.
We cannot shy away from that. Really.
Okay.
Yeah, but the position is you stand a better chance if you are able to get a good lawyer that will appeal very well on your behalf.
All right. Good evening, Lee.
Yes, good evening.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, what I want to know, when you say that if a spouse comes up and it's now 12 years instead of 2 years that they get, do you know why that is? And does that mean that they come from abroad for 10 long years? And why has it changed from 2 years to 10 years? Is it
why did it change from 2 to 10?
Okay. That's big, right?
I didn't get your question right, Lee. You want to know the reason for the change in the 2 years law to 10 years? You want to?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Lee.
Okay. Well, that's the policy, really. We don't have power over that.
You're not the lawmaker?
Yes. The decision makers actually have their reason why they put it that way. Because it's actually a wide gap to move from 2 years
to 10
qualification to 10 years.
Honestly,
really.
Honestly.
But at the same time, we don't have power over that. So anyone who wants to come under the route of maybe you want to join your spouse in UK, you just have to have it in mind that you will not have a permanent stay until
after 10 years.
You have spent 10 years
That's
in
a
UK.
serious one.
Yeah.
That's a serious one.
Yeah.
Hope your question has been answered, Lee. Thanks for calling. So you reckon an applicant who wants to appeal should use an attorney?
Yeah, I do. Because it's not that people cannot do it personally, but it's always to be on a safer side. Because if you lose your right of appeal through carelessness, you may not really like it at the end of the day. So you are better off to actually spend that money and get a good professional person to actually help you with your appeals. So I still recommend the use of an attorney to actually go for appeals. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So from the changes you've mentioned to us tonight, what trend can we note for the future in this immigration, matter?
From the look of things, immigration law is an area that changes so quickly.
So quickly.
Yeah. Okay. And my own advice is that whatever comes up, whatever changes, people should take advantage to regularize
quickly
their status before that thing is actually withdrawn again.
Good evening, Ben. I'll be with you one sec. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Thanks for calling.
Sorry, I got two questions to ask.
Go on, please.
One of them is something I just don't understand from what the lawyer have just said.
Okay.
She said the probationary period is 10 years, but on their website it said 5 years. It was increased from 2 to 5, so I don't know where she got the 10 years from.
Okay.
And the second one is, she made a statement about somebody who got a kid, and if the kid is here for 7 years, does that apply for people who are overstayers or people who are illegal immigrants, or does it just apply to people who only got papers to stay in this country?
All right, Ben.
Apply to their kid after 7 years.
All right, Ben. All right, Ben.
Okay. Yeah. Your very first question regarding the 10 years and the 5 years.
Yeah.
The 10 years is actually applicable to spouses who want to join their partners, either who the partners are maybe British citizens, people with ILR, indefinite leave to remain, or people who have their stay on humanitarian protection, like asylum seekers, and people who have refugee status. Okay. So that is where 10 years applies.
Oh, okay.
The 5 years, if somebody comes into UK and maybe has been a worker in UK or has been here legally for 5 years, they can now regularize after 5 years.
After 5 years, okay.
But in terms of the 10 years is applicable to family members like spouses who wants to join their partners in UK.
Okay,
so
not those who are already
not
here.
Not those that are already here.
Okay.
So there are two different things.
Okay.
The 10 years to the partner, to the spouses, and then the 5 years to
those
people
who are here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second question?
Yeah, the second question is about the 7 years.
Yeah.
Either illegal, maybe the parents are actually illegal immigrants or not, is a general law that if you are here and you have a child that was born here, who was born here and has been in UK, has remained in UK without going anywhere more than 6 months, then after 7 years, such a parent can apply under the children concession or under that child's concession. But this is still at the discretion of the Secretary of State. Okay. It's not automatic. And the other part is if you bring a child into UK and the child has been here
for 7 years,
then the parent also can. So it's a general thing, not
it applies to everybody.
Either overstay or whatever.
Good evening, Betty. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I've got a question.
Okay, go on, please.
The question is regarding someone that's been here for, say, 14 years, because I think there used to be a 14-year rule. And in between, obviously the person had overstayed, but then in between the 14 years, coming up to 14 years now, because I heard that it's been changed in July. But in between the 14 years, say for instance, the person had like 5 years spouse visa, and the 5 years spouse visa is coming to an end because obviously maybe they're divorced or something. Can the person switch over using the 14-year rule, even though I think the 14-year rule might have been cancelled in July?
Okay. You want to answer that question?
That question is not very clear, really. Yeah.
I'm talking about the 14-year rule.
The 14-year rule.
Yeah, the 14-year rule, as you are aware, has actually been cancelled in July. And what is applicable to that now is 20 years now. If that's for illegal immigrants, people who are here illegally can actually come under the 20-year route now.
Okay.
And the coming under the 20-year rule, such a person will actually be placed on 10 years rule for 10-year rules, as in terms of maybe will be given 2.5 years. And then will be allowed to renew 3 different times, 2.5 years, to meet up to 10 years. Okay. So, but generally speaking, the 14-year rule has stopped since July and is being replaced by the 20-year rule now. Well, that is still at the discretion of the Secretary of State. It's not automatic, even for the 20 years rule.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the 14-year rule is now?
It's cancelled.
It's cancelled, and it's not 20 years
20.
old. Someone said, after the 1st October, will all new overstayer application be rejected? And what of already submitted applications? Well, if the applications have been submitted already, that will be before October 1st. Wow.
Yeah, but if somebody stay more than 28 days over, from October 1st, such a person will lose the rights in any category.
In any category?
In any category. Yeah.
Hi, Honors. Hello?
Hello.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, if you sent in your application, for instance, and then they haven't given you a response. So how do they have all your documents and all of that, and they haven't given you your response yet. So how do you go about work?
Okay.
Well,
how do you go about work? If they ask you, for instance, at the place, maybe you're applying for a job, and then they ask you where are your documents. So what do you say?
There's nothing to say more than your paper has not gone through, so you are not entitled to work in UK until that one is sorted.
So if your application is at the
it's
UKBA,
still ongoing, yeah,
you are not allowed to work.
You are not allowed to work. Otherwise, you will be breaching.
I was told that. Sorry, excuse me.
Go on, please.
Okay, I was told that you are on the same status you were until your application has been approved or a decision has been made. So how can you not be allowed to work if they haven't given you a refusal or an acceptance?
Well, don't forget that you're actually maybe applying for an extension of your stay. What you have before is a limited leave.
Yeah.
So, and once the limited leave is finished. You don't have a right until another decision is being made on your case. So, in terms of work, you are not allowed to work until the final decision is made, really. Yeah.
So your application is there, you're not permitted to work?
You are not permitted to work.
Okay, yeah. Someone said, hello, can I apply for my son born here, who is now 7 years? You know, we were speaking about something off stage when we were on break. You said the 7-year rule can be withdrawn anytime, that people should make, you know, good use of this rule now. So you want to talk to someone who's got a 7-year-old child?
Yeah.
And
yeah, my advice is actually to make use of the opportunity. Because since July 9th, the 7-year concession actually came back. So, and I would advise you to actually put in an application since your child
is
actually 7 years old and he's born here.
And delay can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Hi, David.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I think you're good evening, a lawyer in the house. Yeah. I just want to quickly revisit the issue the change tomorrow earlier concerning the probationary period that is what St. John is part in the UK. There's a conflict. There's a conflict of information here because there's a very prominent lawyer, normally comment television on a daily basis. Yeah. He's talking about 5 years probationary period, not 10 years as the lawyer have said. The last change tomorrow is the issue before. So apart from being on their website, the UKBA website, it's been said it's 5 years, not the 10 years. Okay. And my other question, please, is about the Article 8. What chance of someone that has got children born here, but the place is illegal? Has he got any right to? Has he got any chance of? Regularizing stay under Article 8?
Okay. All right. Thanks for calling, David.
Yeah. The very
5, not 10.
The first question.
Yeah.
Is on
it's still on the issue of on the UKBA website is 5 years and not 10 years for, I think
the spouse.
The spouse, yeah.
Okay. Well, the position there is that the 2 years for spouses have not been replaced by 10 years now to qualify for settlement.
For those just coming
over. For those who are coming over to join their spouses in UK.
Okay.
Either as a British citizen or with ILR or with refugee status or with humanitarian protection. So the 10 years is applicable to spouses.
So who are the one under the 5 years?
The 5 years, the 5 years are people who are actually maybe under work permits before, who now wants to apply for settlements, who have been in the system before. They can make use of that 5 years. Yeah.
So that's the difference between the
5 and the 10.
10. Then the second question, he's got 4 kids. He gave birth to 1 here. 3 are illegal. Can the 3 apply on, I don't know, based on the Article one that is, 8. Based on Article 8, he said.
Okay. Well, that's because in terms of, it depends on the age of the children. If they are actually under 16, and they've been here for a certain number of years, well, it's still at the discretion of the Secretary of State to actually grant such a family, maybe under Article 8, concession, for instance. But generally speaking, if the only one that is born here, don't forget that giving birth to a child here, since 1983, children that are born after 1983, they do not have automatic British citizenship anymore. So, but it's still at the discretion of the Secretary of State, depending on the number of years that those children, even the illegal ones, have spent in UK. So, maybe if, for instance, on different grounds, maybe on medical ground or any other ground, there are some exceptional grounds which are, can be used even for the illegal ones as well. So for them to be able to maybe regularize their immigration status in UK.
Wow, so but it's not automatic because
it's not automatic
due to the to Article 8.
The Article 8, the right to family life and private life. So it depends on what you want to put together, what the number of years they've spent here, and what you think you still want to benefit, maybe from the UK.
Okay. What would be your advice for people who are coming in to study in the UK? You know, as it is now, you can't work and study at the same time. If you want to come in as a student, you're coming in as a student. You know, what would be your advice? Before you answer that question, let's take Ben's call. Good evening, Ben.
Hello.
Hi.
Listen, I've called earlier, and somebody just called again, particularly about this question of 10 years.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be a misinformation. I don't know, either from her or from other lawyers who've listened on TV. So let me put a case study here. If somebody was to be living here and was legal living here and got married to a British citizen or somebody who got an indefinite leave to remain, so what was the probationary period that will be given to that person? I think that's what we're all trying to find out.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that is if that person is actually in UK.
Yeah, someone is married to someone who is, you know, a legal stayer. Is that what you call them?
I think there's a mixed up of information over
somewhere,
there. So I will advise actually to, we have our phone numbers and the websites on the
Victory Legal Services details.
So you can call us up because we need to really get the question that is actually asking.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's got to do with this issue of 5 years.
5 years and 10 years. Yeah. Because I've actually explained that the 10 years is actually applicable to spouses that are joining their partner in UK.
To know the probational period.
It used to be 2 years before you can apply for settlements. But if, for instance, if that spouse is coming and maybe they gave the spouse 5 years, then the 5 years will be applicable.
Okay. Hello, Hola from Barking.
Hello, madam. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I just want to say big thanks to the presenter. Thank you for your job well done.
Thank you.
For enlightening people like us. I'm just listening to this for the very first time.
Thank you.
The lawyer, please. I got an application in the Home Office and I'm filing for Article 8. I'm not praying for the bad, I'm praying for the good. I think there is still some people that got application in the Home Office. What advice can you give to them? Supposing they refuse them after October 1st, what advice can you give to people that they refuse?
Okay. All right, Ola, thanks for calling. Thanks for
Can you
calling.
repeat that question?
Yeah, what advice will you give to people who's got applications at home office? Even if the new change affects them now, what do you think they should do?
Well, the position is that so far the application has been submitted. Depending on the date the application was submitted, the rule at that date will be applicable. If the relevance of the changes that is taking place will not be applicable to applications that are submitted already.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you got your application already submitted, whatever happens,
it will go 1st, with the rule that went with the application.
Okay. So I was asking you what your advice would be for people who want to come in to the UK to study from abroad, you know, because as it is now, you can't work and study at the same time. Well, what do you want to advise?
Well, my own candid advice to students who actually came into UK to study is since the post-study concession is been cancelled, my advice is because if you finish your degree, for instance, now, you can switch to Tier 2, which is the work category. But there may not be, the job may not just be there for everybody.
God bless you, ma. Let's take this last call before we go tonight. Good evening, Tulsi.
Hello, good evening.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't really have a question per se. I just want to say hi to Mrs. Miriam Wonifa.
Oh, okay.
She's actually helped me, you know.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right, thank you, Tulsi. That's one of Barrister's clients. Thanks for calling. We appreciate your call. Yeah, so we've got 1 minute to go.
So
people coming in to study.
People who are coming in to study, it's good to actually want to stay back, because generally when you come in as a student, people want to just people want to do they want to do their studies,
but the job might not really.
The job may not be there. So if the job is not there, just be in the place where God
wants you to be. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Wherever the soul of a fish shall tread, it would give to us. Our time is gone tonight. We've got to go. I know you're still itching to ask Barrister your questions. Our number is on the screen. Give her a call. She'll be off air any moment from now. I'm sure she'll be able to take your call. She'll be able to help. You know, just get in touch with her. Catch up on our past episodes on www.questionsintheheart.com. You want to support us, you want us to, you know, keep coming your way every week with life-transforming programs, support us. A place to donate is there on our website. We've got a store there as well where you can lay your hands on books that will bless and transform your lives forever. Join us tomorrow on Sky 593, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. as we bring your way a life-transforming program. I won't say episode because it's no questions in the heart. So join us on Sky 593 tomorrow 7 p.m. And on Thursday 8 p.m. we are on www.londonchristianradio.com. There we'll make you laugh, we'll make you smile, we'll make you happy. Join us and the Lord will bless you as you do. We've got our 24 hours internet TV. I'm going to bring you the details next week by the grace of God. You can log on our TV, you know, enjoy yourself 24 hours with life transforming program. Next week, Tuesday, marks the beginning of Black History Month. Don't miss any of our program for next month. God bless you for coming. Barrister Wonifa. We hope to see you again. Please get in touch with her and you'll be glad you did. Till I see you same time, same station next week. God bless you. To all our production crew, thumb up. Bye-bye.
Are you thinking of putting smiles on the faces of friends and family back home? Then top up their mobile phones with credit from your AfriMobile number. Also, make cheap international calls leveraging our outstanding rates to African countries in particular. Visit afrimobile.co.uk and request your free SIM today. AfriMobile, connecting love.